In this video, we're going to review the installation procedures for an LED kit. This is for the Crane Merchant, and this is for the original version that did not come with LED strips. You know, the newer machines do, but there's plenty of the stock older machines that have these white panels, and then there'll be a fluorescent light behind it. So just updating it makes it look as nice as the newer machines. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide open this panel right here, turn the machine off. Then next step, I'm going to go ahead and release the delivery port. So kind of reach in, and as you know, there's a little latch here. You pop the latch up, and then the delivery panel will come forward. And then, so now this piece of plastic, these typically have gotten old from the heat, so they usually pop out very easily. So be a little conscientious that you know, sometimes they pop out very easily, sometimes not as much. I'm just going to I can kind of do this just with my hands, kind of peeling this back, and then these are the tabs that kind of held it in place. So once I have this panel out of the way, I have access to, I can see the ballast here and the fluorescent light. I'm going to go ahead and remove the fluorescent light. So I'm just spinning it 90 degrees till it releases. And I like to take this and move this far out of my work area. At this point, I have this ballast, which I'll be removing. And then, as you can see, the ballast kind of behind the 200 tray, there's a little 4-position connector. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this ballast right here. And with the kit, it's going to come with the power transformer. It's going to be wired with this same white connector here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the machine power. And then it has, this is what's going to run to your LEDs. So I'm going to go ahead and open this power cord up to have a little bit of cord. And then I'm going to peel this back off. There's a Velcro. So this kind of, I like to place it on the inside of the machine, just the way the machine's built. There's a panel in the back. So I just typically reach around back here. And then, you know, my choice is just, there's an easy to access panel. So I just pop that on the panel. Next, I'm going to pull this original power cord that went to the ballast forward. So this is going to be removed soon, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to feed this new power cord through. And usually I get lucky. If I don't, sometimes I could reach through this way to get it, but I'm just going to pull this part all the way through here. So now I have this new cord. What I'm going to do now is, just with a 1/4-inch nut driver, I'm going to remove this ballast. It's also 3 or 4 1/4-inch screws. I'm going to remove this silver holder for the original fluorescent light bulb. Removing that allows me to put in a little diverter panel here to knock all the product to make sure it goes into the bin. I recommend removing it. You really don't have to, because the panel does hold itself in place. But I'm just, the best installation is to remove this and this, which I'm going to do now with my 1/4-inch nut driver. So at this point, I'm removing the top screw. There were 2 screws that held the silver lamp holder in place. So I've undone a total of 4 screws. And this panel will come forward. So I'm going to take this and move this out of the way. At this point, the original fluorescent light fixture has been removed, so I'm going to go and install the first of the 2 strips. Within the kit, you'll get a total of 4 of these little plastic tie mounts. So I'm going to start with the side up here that has the female connector, and I'm going to just clip this over and slide this down over the strip. And this just kind of makes it a little bit easier for the installation, and this can slide and be adjusted. I'm going to do the same on the bottom. I want the longer part with the screw hole essentially facing the back. So just sliding the wire through here. I'm going to slide this up on this strip. So now I'm going to essentially adjust the spacing for this hole so it matches up the hole that was already in the machine. And I'm going to reuse the same 1/4" drive screw so it makes a real clean installation.
Okay, if you want to turn it.
So the top one's secure, so now I slid this spacer down. I'm going to go ahead and mount this to the second lower hole. But basically you just want to make sure that this connection of the LED strip here goes to this power source. So later in the video I'm going to address this with timeouts, but basically you'll have just a minimal amount of wire here just so it looks nice. At this point I have this down here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the machine on just to make sure it works. It takes about 10 to 12 seconds for the LED strip to come on at this point. Okay, so at this point the machine's come on and I at least know everything's connected properly, so I'm going to turn the machine back off and add the extension harness that goes under the delivery bin. Okay, at this point there's 2 extension harnesses that come with it, and that just helps with the installation. So here I'm going to connect, this is the female side, so I'm going to put the male side here. And then this needs to go straight down. There's plenty of gaps. The way the machine was designed makes it very easy to put these parts in. So what I've done here, I kind of have this on the right hand side, this extension, and I'm going to have this male side right here. So I'm going to go over to my left side, remove this panel, and then drop down the side that's going to mate. So I'm going to be connecting it in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this panel. It's basically the same as the other one. Just try to grab it, and, get my fingers in and it'll pop out. Alright, one thing, so after I've removed this left side panel, typically there's a serial number, so it's very important. This would be an asset number, a serial number. So the final step of the video, don't just discard this panel. This is going to need to be peeled off and put back on this panel just to identify your machine, or any time you call to order parts, you're going to have to give this serial number. So don't throw this important information away. It's nice to have it accessible from the front of the machine. All right, at this point in the video I'm going to add the extension for the left side. To make it a bit easier and just so that you don't accidentally bump this, I'm going to lift this handle here, and then the delivery bin will come all the way down, so I have full access. So I'm going to run this cord over here, and it's just nice that there's a easy to access hole. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it now. I've kind of have a way of running my power up to this side here. My next step, I'm going to go ahead and remove this fluorescent light and get this out of the way. Okay, now I've retrieved my second LED strip, and just to make sure you don't plug anything in backwards, you can go ahead and connect it. And so here I've connected it, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually turn the machine on, give it 12 seconds to initialize just to make sure that the cable I've connected, everything's in good condition. So I'll turn the machine on. Alright, so at this point I know all my harnesses are solid, everything's good, so I'm almost finished with this installation. I'm going to turn the machine off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this on the left. I recommend removing this strip that holds the fluorescent light. So there's going to be 2 screws in place, and actually the screws on this machine face inward. So you need I'm going to use my wrench that just has a shorter handle to get them, and on this machine there's 2 screws. Alright, so here I have my more stubby 1/4" nut driver, and just the way they put the screws in, they're facing forward. So I'm going to remove the 2 1/4" hex nuts. Once the second screw is removed, this will kind of come towards you, and then you'll have that very easy access to this connector. You'll just press in the clasp. That part's no longer connected and is no longer needed. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and mount my LED strip.
I'm going ahead and just mounting the strip on this side is the same as the right. Basically, you use the existing 2 screw holes with the included plastic pieces. You'll mount and connect your LED strip, and then you can adjust it in the direction that you want.
So here I'm going to go ahead and install this diverter. It's very important. So they're designed to be very tight. So I gradually ease them down, and I kind of keep it forward a bit. And like I'm just going to get it in the slot. So I want to hold the wire here just so it doesn't get pinched. Okay, now it'll click absolutely perfectly into place. It's designed to be very tight. We did put a screw hole here in case you want to put a screw in, which I would recommend doing, but just very important that this is put in place. Now I'm going to go over to the other side and put the second panel in. So now I'm going to install my second metal plate here. This particular machine has a little piece of plastic here. I'm going to go ahead and they're kind of designed to be very tight. So I want this piece of plastic to go through the 2 slots, and that's going to, kind of prevent this, like that it can never fall forward. Again, there's a drill hole if you'd like to use that. So at this point, I have all my panels in place, and I'm going to go ahead and, for this wire right here, I'm going to go ahead and just dress this so it's out of the way. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of make the job look neat, and this little tie mounts were included with the kit. And I'm going to go ahead and just secure this just so it looks neat. I kind of like to run this wire through here as opposed to in the delivery bin with the guaranteed vend sensors. The one time you may not want to do that if you're using this delivery bin for storage, then you would not want to pull your products across this wire. So if you are using this bottom area for storage, you would run your wires down and through across the delivery bin. It takes an extra step. I think most customers are not using this. So this is the way that when we update these machines, we just typically run this cable down along the bottom. So there I kind of have it dressed just so it looks neat, and I'm going to go ahead and just lift this up into place. You'll kind of hear it click into place. At this point, I still have this wire here, so my final step, I'm going to just use a couple of the tie mounts just to kind of keep it looking neat. At this point, basically everything is installed. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, give it 12 seconds to initialize, and the job should be complete.